Hey y'all, and welcome back to Family Traveling Adventures. So Marcus and I recorded a video on how much money you should bring on a cruise. I'm going to show you some of the clips that we did, but also just at the beginning just break down, how much we spend, traditionally, how much should you bring, and then allow you to figure out and customize it for your own family. Alrighty, here we go. So traditionally, you should bring about $12 to $15 per person per day. So my family of four, that would be about 240 some odd dollars. Um, and could you do that and be okay? Absolutely. Because with cruises, you've paid for so much ahead of time, you could honestly just go $300 or less and honestly come back with money if you needed to. Because there's so much that's already included, and then when you get to the ports, a lot of times they have those free public beaches that you can just go to and have a blast. But let's look at what we may consider as additional costs. Now, when we talk about traditionally, we're saying if everything is paid for, like your cruise fare, of course, but gratuities as well, parking if you can prepay for it. There's a lot of prepaid parking options. Specialty dining. If you're going to do specialty dining, which you do not have to, but if you're going to do specialty dining, if you want beverage packages, like if you're going to drink alcohol, you can prepay for all of that. And a lot of the cruises now even have the cruise cash for beverages or cruise cash for, different aspects of your cruise that you can go ahead and purchase, and that money will already be there. So it's just like you're prepaying for it anyway. And then we have shore excursions. If you prepaid for your shore excursions, whether it is through the cruise line or through an outside vendor. Now, know that a lot of times with the outside vendors, you're not actually prepaying for it. You do pre-reserve it. Sometimes there is a deposit necessary, then the entire amount is paid for when the excursion actually does happen. Or sometimes you're just outright reserving it like a hotel, and you don't actually pay for it until you get there. So, but you can always put that money aside. Now, I say that if your family is going to be exploring the port without pre-purchasing a shore excursion, then plan to budget about 20 to 60 extra dollars per person for your port days. Um, and that's just because you want to have fun while you're on the port, okay? If you $12 to $15 may not cut it if you go to the beach and everybody wants to jet ski. So I say $20 to $60 per person. My family, we do a little different, but I'll get into that a little later. Oh, that's me and the hubby in Jamaica. No, no, no. I have on here Jamaica, but I think this is Cozumel, y'all. This is Cozumel. Y'all saw those videos. This is Cozumel. And so, if you plan right, you can spend more money at your ports of call and less on board. So if you have checked out our website, familytravelingadventures.com, you will know that we have some in-depth guides on cruising and vacationing as a family. But I do deal with how to save money on a cruise. It's very important. If you plan ahead, you can come out of pocket with less money while you're on your cruise. And I think that's very important. Okay, so getting right to my family of four and how we spend our money on a cruise. So, tips that are not included. So, no, gratuities don't cover every tip that you will necessarily need to pay. If you do things, Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. So baggage handlers, when you first get there, it's customary to give like a dollar or two per bag. We generally give two or three. So a family of four, we're gonna give about $8 to $10. And I know that doesn't meet the three per bag, but I'm just telling y'all, we 2 to 3 is what we give. And so we normally give about 8 to 10. My husband is an awesome tipper, very appreciative of his service people. So it's honestly, you know, if we have one porter that is handling all our bags, it's nothing for him to give a 20. But it's up to you and what your principles are when it comes to tipping. I've heard a lot of different stories out there about tipping and how people feel about it, but $1 to $2 at least, okay? Alrighty, so if you are taking a tour and there is a guide, they will always open up opportunity at the very end for you to tip. And it's customary to do about 5 to 10 based on how great you feel your tour guide was. But 5 to 10, tourism is how they make their money in a lot of these countries that we go to. Okay, so travel days. The days that we are traveling, going, and coming back. Gas, if you're driving, depending on where you're coming from, and what type of vehicle you drive. Okay. Parking, if you were unable to prepay for it, $50 to $130. And so the 50 is going to be more on the lower line for cruises that are not 7-day cruises. Okay. And you may have um, parking options that are available for less or over, depending on the type of parking that you're taking. And I have a in-depth video about parking, but the type of parking option that you're choosing, and then your stay, how long your vehicle will be there. So food, about $60 a day for travel days. We generally have already eaten at least once before we leave, and then we bring things like water and snacks for the road. So generally this is just, maybe twice on the road, picking up something quick to eat. Hotel. So I have 100 to 150 per night. This is based on, of course, definitely your family and what kind of hotels you want to stay in. But this is around about how much we pay for a hotel for travel days. Now, this is not, I'm going out of town on vacation to enjoy the hotel. This is a safe, nice place to lay my head. Okay, so then we have port day, $50 to $80 per person. Now this is where I said earlier that what we actually spend is a little different. So generally on a port day, my in-head budget is to spend about $50 to $80 per person. This is going to cover things like if we are not taking a shore excursion, we want to just tour the island or experience the island ourselves, just taxis to wherever we're going. Um, and then activity when we get there, whether it may be parasailing. Oh, my phone is, somebody's contacting me. Whether it is something like parasailing, jet skiing, there's so much stuff to do even if you go to the free beaches. And then some beaches cost. So there are hotels that are waterfront, and they will charge you per person entry to come in. Food, drinks while you're there, because you're not on the cruise anymore, so you got to pay to eat and drink. Um, Things like that. Yeah. Alrighty. At sea day, about $25 per person per day. Basically, this is for things like if we want an alcoholic drink or something, or specialty drink. I say alcoholic, but any kind of specialty drink. We usually enjoy maybe one or two per cruise. We don't do packages because we don't do it a lot enough to justify it. Or the arcades with the kids. at Sea Day is a perfect day for arcade day. Special functions like breakfast with characters. This is a great opportunity for that. So I have another section called Random I Want. So if there's something in particular that you want, like for instance, you are at the port and you see something and it's a good deal because they have excellent deals, so you want it. Random I want cash is just money that you have set aside for, ooh, I want that. So $500 to $1,000 is what I have in my head. Budgeted and set aside, should I say necessarily. that this is what Marcus and I go back and forth on because we just have money in our account and we use our debit card. We will take out money. We'll take out about 500 when we first head in ones, fives, tens, and 20s. The ones and the fives are more so for tipping, and then the 10s and 20s are more so for the bigger items that we may want to purchase, like activities. Like if we go and we get off the cruise and there's an excursion, we see a local excursion and it's like $70 per person. Well, we have the 20s available for that. If we want to go just shopping for like jewelry, if you've heard me talk about this in other videos, then I have my debit card because I'm shopping at a reputable place, usually in the cruise shopping district. So I'm gonna use my debit card, and I don't budget for those things because the money's just in my account. So it's not anything that I plan or budget for unless I'm planning on getting some pretty high dollar item. Then I kind of just have in my head, in advance what I want to spend. And next, you will see our discussion. So Marcus and I discussion. I'll just take a few clips out of that where you can kind of hear us talking and chopping this whole topic up. So I don't want anyone to think that they have to bring loads of money. Of course, you can enhance your experience by bringing additional money. And there are things like pictures. If you want to purchase pictures and you haven't did a picture package, pictures run about $19 to $20.
Especially if you want to get the nice picture, especially on formal night, they always have where you can have a nice picture.
And they are taking pictures from the time you step on that cruise to the time you get off. So it is very enticing to purchase a picture. I think we probably don't.
We only buy the kid. We
only buy things for our kids when they're not with us. And so I think we generally spend under $50, honestly. Yeah. We're not really big on souvenirs.
We don't buy them. You're not finna get a keychain, a postcard,
a refrigerator magnet.
You're not getting jack.
We don't do that. Pictures. Like our family and friends, they don't really ask for those things, and I don't really think they value. They would just be like, oh, okay, cool, thank you.
Here's a good tip. If you go to Cozumel and you get up and you're one of the first to get off the ship and you go in town, you can get the best deal when their shop first opened. So I was talking with this guy. This is kind of like some insider information. So I was talking with this guy who has a beach house down in Cozumel. And one of their customs is they believe like the very first sale is they want to hurry up and make it because it kind of blesses the rest of their sales. So if it takes them a long time to make the first sale, it's like, oh, we're going to have a bad day. But if they want to go, so they're incentivized to go ahead and get that first sale done. So you can get some really good deals if you're the very first one to buy something from that store. Yeah.
So another thing is have money available for medical expenses because it can be expensive to go down to the medical place on the ship, medical clinic on the ship. But I would say have your like our deductible, and I don't care about saying this because it don't matter, it's $1,500. I would say have that accessible just in case something happens and you need to use it. Have that money accessible to you.
But if you get off the ship and you're in Mexico, you go to their pharmacy, you can get some really good stuff, at a cheap price. Remember my aunt bought.
I don't need you putting people's business out on here. I think you don't call. They're like, God bless her soul.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that pretty. Does that sound it? Oh, you were saying that your uncles them they get their like.
Yeah, they like to buy. They like ostrich boots and alligator boots, and so they can get them at a very discounted price than what they can get over here at the U.S. So they always save up money. And they go shopping, and they buy their shoes when they go to Mexico. Like that's one thing that they always do. So like really, I would say a range. Depending, I would say I would not go no less than $200 or $300. I would not. I would have that at least to shop with and spend and blow. Because you will.
I would say that's it. That's only in a situation if you are. I barely made it on the ship. You know what I mean? Like.
And some people do that.
Yeah, some people do, and we've done that before to where we're like we really needed a vacation financially, you know.
We got on the ship. It was good.
But you know, and so we've done that before. But just know that you know you are. Anytime you do that, you definitely are risking it for emergencies. Not anything that you plan, but emergencies.
But then you do have some people, they don't get off the ship. Like, they want everybody to go off so they can have the ship to themselves. They get...
Alrighty, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me some topics down in the comment. Let me know what you want to hear next.